Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our hearings and deliberations on local water done well for today. So, first of all, we have an apology from Mayor Neil Brown. So Neil has his other community hat on today and is out on fire duty at Westerfield, so we wish them all the best in containing that fire out there. Today we're looking at the submissions on local water done well, and we went out for consultation in line with the rest of the country, the rest of the councils, and we had a proposal and another option. So we will have one submitter coming to speak to us today, and we had over 250 submissions that we will then go through in the deliberations. So first of all, I'd like to welcome up Mr. Stuart Wilson to make his submission, and I'll just go through here. So when we councillors, when we're hearing submissions, this is our information gathering part of the meeting. The submitter will be given 5 minutes to speak to their submission, and then we will have 5 minutes to ask any questions, and those questions are just to clarify matters raised in the submission, not to give our opinions. Thank you. Welcome, Stuart. Floor's yours. We are being live streamed, so you've got up to 5 minutes for your submission.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, everybody. Madam Mayor, fellow councillors, senior staff and general staff. When I decided to submit in person, I thought it was important to show support for the option the council decided was the best for our district. Sometimes through thinking the obvious choice will be accepted by ratepayers can mean that the opposing view can activate themselves out of proportion to public opinion. Once I saw the number that supported the proposal, I didn't know whether I should submit or not, but I've got a few other points. Now was the opportunity to air them. The overwhelming support for the standalone business unit is an emphatic endorsement of your option that the council favoured. I do not intend to reiterate what I outlined regarding the reasons for my decisions to support the standalone business unit compared to the CCO. I know you will have all read my submission, as I used to, so you can see why I think the CCO option is not the right one for the Ashburton district. The legislation is clear-cut that the standalone business unit must be financially independent of other council services. Please, no fudging and trying to be a social welfare organisation. All users of the three waters must be responsible for all costs associated with the supply of these services. As a resident of Tynwald, connected to the borough drinking and wastewater systems, I realise that comply with future requirements is going to cost. It will be up to council to justify that expenditure to ratepayers in an open and transparent way. I think council has to point out that no matter what option they took, it's going to cost ratepayers that are connected to the council supplies. Legislation, to comply with legislation, is going to cost. Those that are not connected are going to have to up their grade of drinking water that they supply, so they will be, even though private wells will still be required to come up to the same standard. So people that are not on town water will be doing it privately, expenses. Best way to ensure that those who use the service pay is introduce water meters to all ratepayers connected to council supply potable water and be charged according to the amount they use. Not only to monitor usage, but to charge according to usage. Those of us in residential D already are subject to this regime. Having a meter and knowing we pay for extra water ensures and we keep a monthly account of usage. In the future, I think this is a directive for all council to comply with. So the sooner this is implemented in this district, it will be advantage to comply with legislation and to ensure water is used responsibly. To drive down Tarbottons Road on a hot summer period, it's obvious which side of the road has water meters who charge and those who have water meters who are not charged. Which side of the road irrigates their boom? Residential C who do not pay for water. I think council found that in the past with Methven, when Methven Residential D were connected to meters and were charged extra, their usage was actually lower per head of connection than Residential C, because they knew they were charged. Of course, the regime is you don't charge for every single litre, otherwise in a wet year the council's income would go way up or way down. It would be similar to what we pay. We have an allowance and then we use extra water we pay. One way to soften the blow for first time meter users is to read the meter monthly and charge annually, so that it sort of summer and winter averages the supply out. So when you get people used to paying for water, that would be one way to sort of lead into a monthly charge, so that they would get used to being charged. Only thing with meters, we wouldn't want the council to send a letter to every, or an email to every single connector. You've used naught amount of water, you've used naught amount of water. There must be some way you can do it by email that say you're within the limit or something, so that otherwise, for a start, when it was in mail, we used to get a letter, you have used none over your limit. Well, what a waste of money that was. As I suggested in my submission, there is a need for another well south of the Ashburton River. The present well in the Tynwald Reserve is situated in a high nitrate plume. Look at ECAN maps and you can see there's a big plume. Why we put a domestic well there, it beats me. The present well, as I said, is in a high nitrate plume. Completely ridiculous to spend more money on that suspect well. Even if you go deeper, it's still in an area of high nitrates. There are other areas in Tynwald, private people who test their water privately with these forest and bird or fish and game, those community days. There are a lot of private wells in Tynwald that are very low nitrates. So surely the council could follow some of that up. With increased population growth in the Tynwald Lake Hood area, to rely on a pipe over the river will be increasing the risk of a catastrophe in water supply in these suburbs. I know the new bridge is going to have a pipe on it, possibly, but it won't be underground, won't be under the river, it'll be across the top of the bridge. And I mean, even though it's a new bridge, doesn't mean to say an earthquake could not take it out or something. So I think south of the river should be possibly, it can be connected, but there's always an emergency. I think we should have an emergency well for that side of the town. Finally, congratulations, councillors. You've read the feeling of the ratepayers of this district by your choice of option. So you did very well. Thank you. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Stuart. That was a very good submission. I'll go now to questions. Any councillors have questions? Councillor Cameron.
Thanks, Stuart. Nice to see you in here. Have you measured your water? Like, what's the nitrates in your water or in the well out at Tynwald? I'm not familiar with that level.
I have trouble with the variation of the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the theory was when it goes down, we're on the pipe from Ashburton, and when it goes up, we're back to Tynwald water helping it, because I know the valves work in conjunction with one another. Okay. No, I haven't tested it, no.
So we don't know what it is out of that Tynwald
well? Oh, yes, I know what it's in Tynwald well is, yes.
Oh, what is it? Do you
you'll have to, I know, but you'll have to ask your water department.
Okay.
I don't want to divulge it publicly. I'm not equipped to say that, but I know it is very high. Yeah.
Okay. When I look at the growth statistics for the district, I think it's 2/3, 1/3 north of the bridge versus south of the bridge growth. Do you still think we need to do another well? Do you not, like if there was an earthquake, do you think it would be pretty remote to knock out a new pipe if there is one that goes under the bridge or.
I know your water department is thinking about needing another well, and I think they
Okay.
were talking about
Yeah.
Argyle Park or something. Well, there's a heap of wells already up there. There was
Yes.
an option.
Yeah.
The cost should have been cheaper to put one in Tynwald and connect straight to with the usage there than pipe it all the way from Argyle
Yeah,
Park,
sounds
or
logical.
pump it across, or
Yeah, sounds logical. Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you. Any other questions for Stuart? No, thank you, Stuart. We really appreciate you coming in and making that submission, and we all did read it, obviously, but it's good to hear you reiterate your points, so thank you very much. We're going to go into deliberations now, so you're welcome to stay and listen in on those deliberations. Thank you very much. So, councillors, the next part of the meeting is the decision-making part of the meeting, and we have got a presentation from officers. So we welcome Tony, Mark and Tioba up to the front, and they will take us through the slides. So instead of going through each submission one by one, we will go through the summary booklet, which has been provided for us, and we will go through those pages on the summary document. So I will hand over, who's going to kick us off?
Sorry, Tab is just going to take you through the start of the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll just start with the deliberations presentation. The purpose of today's presentation is to provide overview of consultation feedback that has been received and seek council direction moving forward. We have provided supporting material to the councillors beforehand, and we assume that you have gone through it. So I'll start with the feedback summary. So we went out for community consultation on the preferred service delivery model with 3 options. The question had 3 options, and option 1 was standalone business units, which was council's proposal, and it said that the Ashburton District Council continues to deliver drinking water, wastewater and stormwater services after meeting new necessary requirements. The second option was water services council-controlled organization, which would mean that Ashburton District Council will see the establishment of a new CCO which will deliver water services independently with council as a shareholder. And the third option was, if you don't know, or any other option people would want to go for. As a part of community engagement, a consultation document was delivered across Ashburton District through mail drop, and we set up a website which had the information on the topic and online survey, which see over 2,400 views, which means that this is the time that website was visited by people, and in total we received 234 submissions, out of which 104 submissions were paper submissions. So this is the feedback overview. Out of the 3 options, 88% people, or 200 people, opted for council proposal, which was standalone business unit, and 9%, which is 20 people opted for water services organization, and 7 people went for don't know or other option, and there are 7 people who skipped this question altogether. So I'll move on to the key feedback points that we received on council's proposed option, which is standalone business unit. And the popular opinion was along following lines, which is the belief that council governance Submitter wanted Ashburton District Council retaining full control over the water services, because it will ensure transparency, accountability and responsiveness. Many people were of opinion that Ashburton District Council has managed water very well in the past, and they do have the capability of adapting for new requirements and delivery for water in the future. The proposed model will cost less, and many people mentioned that it will avoid any water CCO setup cost. Many people said that they do want to be involved in the consultation, ongoing consultation regarding water decision making, and would like to have transparency in it. Some people just said that keep what is working, and there were some comments that indicated that there was a distrust between water services CCO, and with the fear that it might become profit driven or will reduce community influence in it, or okay. So I'll just say that the council to review summary document from page 8 to 40 to see full submissions with officer comments.
Thank you. So if we go to page 8 on Stella, we'll go through page by page through to page 40. And if you have any comments or questions on any of those submissions, please put your light on. So page 8, we had submitted submissions there. Any comments, questions? No, we'll go to page 9. And I think you can see the key message that's coming through is local control and wanting the council to continue the good work that we have been doing. Councillor Cameron.
There's also quite a lot of comment on cost, which is
Yes.
quite interesting given we had that pharmacoeconomic analysis that showed there wasn't a tremendous cost difference, but there's a lot of cost, and there's clearly people think that having it in-house is reduced cost to external, which is good, I suppose.
Thank you. Councillor Lovett.
There was another thing I saw that was coming through too, is this town's full of the older generation retirees, and that was coming through the cost to them, that we've got to keep this affordable to everybody and be mindful of, the superannuation is the main feed of a lot of people in the future.
And I guess as a standalone business unit, this is ring fence within council,
so
and
we can keep control.
Yep. So it's good. Councillor Cameron.
Thanks, Megan. Sorry, accountability is a big thing, and I think, obviously this is going to be ring fenced, and whoever's sitting around this table will be sort of proxy directors, I suppose. But I think we have to be aware that the community sees that we will be ultimately responsible for the water, the delivery and the quality and the cost of the said water. And I think that's something we need to consider as we go through and make our decision as well.
Yes, thank you. That did come through. Go to page 10. Any comments? There, and I see there's one from Jenny and Ray Swan saying we have great confidence in terms of our council staff and well served overall. So that's a nice message that's coming through. Page 11. Councillor Hooper.
Thank you. In response to KW and RF Sterling's prefer one account for all local services, perhaps we could have a wee bit of clarity around that, how the account will actually look. Will it be one account with a separate water services line, or will it be a separate sheet of paper in the mail? How will that look?
Hamish.
Through Madam Chair, we envisage that there'll be no change. So rates, water rates are currently isolated as a targeted rate for those people to get it on their quarterly rate demand. And as a business unit inside council, I would anticipate that would remain the same.
Thank you.
Councillor Wilson.
I think that Bruce Horton talked about accountability, and then on the next page it's about we can vote them out, for which people like the direct line where they can go through. I think someone else commented later on about they can ring the mayor, so they feel that all the councillors and the mayor are very approachable and they can talk to them, and they feel with the closeness of governance, which we're governance to it, they've actually got a line into the governance of it, rather than otherwise they maybe thought that they were one step back from it.
Yes, thank you. Councillor Lovett.
Just reading one here about stormwater issues in Tinwald. I guess that will get addressed beside this. Must
Which page? And
that's Cherie Mackenzie.
oh, you're on page 12.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So I guess that will get addressed besides this.
So would that be the case? So there's been a couple of other people who have made additional comments other than water, so that gets noted
I think
addressed.
Through Madam Chair, you can see the officer's comment there where we're suggesting that issues like that may be better addressed as a submission to the annual plan or the long-term plan.
Just be nice to have it noted somewhere as well, though. Thank you. Councillor Ellis.
Thank you. There's several comments in there about our in-house model being the cheaper one. But I think we need to make it very, very clear to people, water won't be cheaper when this is instigated than it is now. With the regulations that are changing, there will be increased cost in the water services department. And I just hope people aren't confused by thinking it's going to be cheaper by being in-house than it is today, because that is certainly not the case.
Thank you. Councillor Todd.
Thank you. When officers make comment alongside a submitter, do council send that response to the submitter so that they know what the answer is?
Yes, we do. And if council wanted to send a different message to the submitter, this is your opportunity to comment on the officer's comment if you don't think it's on point.
Thank you. Anything else on page 12? Go to page 13. Councillor Wilson.
There was a few submissions through it on the fluoride issue.
Yes.
And I think the officer's answer is very, very clear as to where we stand on it, and it's not an issue that is directly related to this, because it's bigger than us almost, is the word to describe it. So I think everybody who's in the fluoride debate should read that and understand where we stand on it.
And that answer that's what will be sent out to in response to those submitters, so they will have a clear understanding that it's under the direction of the Director General of Health under the Health Act, and not a decision made by council. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean it's also publicly available on our website,
Yes.
so everybody can see any officer comments.
Okay, thank you. Go on to page 14. Councillor Wilson.
Joss Effort's comment, I think it's around the third comment around separate water volumetric charge be touted either through ECAN or central governance. And I don't think that's to do with the water meter thing. I think it's more to do with the court case that Notawa are taking about the ownership of water, and how water, they feel that water could be charged for, and a royalty and this sort of thing. I think that's to do with that. And obviously we have to abide by what the law says, but we have no thoughts about charging for water at the moment, unless we decided to go down the water metering way, and Rural D do that at the moment, as we heard.
Yes, and that was came through from Stuart Wilson's submission just now about water metering, and I think as a council we have made the directive that we will be using water meters for leak detection at this stage, and no plan for charging water, but we could be directed otherwise going forward. Go on to page 15. Again, sort of keep it local. Council needs to be in control of decision making, retaining ownership. Any other comments on that? Page 16.
I'm just looking at Deanne Smeaton's comment and also sort of a little bit inferred from Andy Joseph McManus with regards to accountability of CCOs.
Yep.
So clearly there is some scepticism with regards to CCOs and how they operate and what their priorities are, and that comes through on a few submitters, I think.
Thank you. Page 17. And the comment there from Peter Murray saying the standalone business unit is the closest to the status quo, and the status quo is working well already. Any other comments on that? Councillor Cameron?
Page 17, top one, very gratifying to see the good thumbs up for our ADC staff. So
Yes.
that's nice to see.
Yes.
So hopefully someone's read that, or the staff have read that.
Thank you. Page 18. So just a bit of clarification there on what WSCCO is. So that has been sent through to that submitter, and also just on fluoridation. Page 19. Any questions? Again, just comments on cost. And worried that the CCO could be a money spinner at the expense of Ashburton ratepayers. Councillor Lovett.
Just talking about the water pressure, is just concerned about the issues around that goes up and down, but I know Tinwald has that issue. I guess it's just something to note and see if it can, what's causing that or whatever.
Thank you. I think that's noted and there's a response there. Page 20. Any comments? Councillor Mackel.
Yeah, I see J&E Morrison's comment of money's been spent on infrastructure over the years, and as our current council has been able to ride in on the coattails of decisions that have been made by previous councils and staff, and obviously the staff of today. So we're very fortunate to be in this position to make, I believe, going to be a very easy decision.
Thank you. Page 21. Councillor Cameron.
Can I go on to, I think it was page 22, there was somebody talking, or you want to talk about 21?
Well, Councillor Ellis, have you got a comment on page 21?
I see there's no staff comment around contributor 2779 on even the rates rebates is unobtainable, and maybe just a little note in there on the criteria for that, because it is obtainable to a lot of people, so I obviously don't know their circumstance, but yeah.
So that might just direction to the website and some information on the rates rebate. Yes.
Will do.
Good idea. Thank you. Councillor Cameron, we'll go to you on page 22.
Bottom of page 22, Glen Estates. It's interesting to say, doesn't want to be seen as becoming a for-profit organisation, which clearly it will not, of course. But user pays agreements with farmers and industries may be necessary. I mean, most farmers pay for their own water anyway through a well, and they manage that themselves. And I wonder if there's some communication with that, if we had that noted on the right-hand side so people understand that this is
for people who
council,
are on our water schemes.
Yeah, on our water schemes, yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Happy with that? You've got that. Councillor Hooper.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just going to follow on from Councillor Ellis and back to 21 and contributor 2779, where they say about just don't get greedy, that's all we ask, and whether or not a note could be mentioned about ComCom overseeing things and making sure that that sort of thing doesn't happen. Also, I do worry a wee bit about the narrative around local control and whether there's an understanding that we still are abiding by regulations set by Te Mara Arawai. So, yeah, I just have a wee bit of concern about, you know, that local control narrative.
Yeah, thank you. Tony, did you have a comment?
Thank you. I was just going to point out where we've got submitters that are titled Contributor 2779, they're effectively anonymous, and so we probably won't be able to get back in touch with them unless they've given us an email address. So we'll try our best, but if we don't have the details, we can't do that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Wilson.
It's bottom of page 22 about there was a comment made that farmers and industry pay for water. They pay for the infrastructure to deliver it, and it is an anomaly whether you class as the fee that they pay volumetric is for the infrastructure they use or for the water they use, but no one pays for water in New Zealand, you just pay for the infrastructure.
Noted, thank you. We'll go to page 23. Any comments on that? Councillor Wilson?
It is the word Jill Watson mentioned, elected members and ratepayers lose control, and all that's around democracy, I think, having the right to vote in or vote out who you want.
Yes, but yeah, and there's quite a few comments to keep local control, and like Councillor Hooper's, the council will be in control, but with the direction from regulations from central government. Page 24. Just some more comments, and again on fluoride. Page 25. And there was a comment from Murray about Sabre will add another layer of costs in form of payment to outside directors, etc. Standalone business unit will mean that we are the governors, directors, or the council will be, and that's noted there. Page 26, Councillor Wilson.
Bottom of 25, I can read that comment that by going with a in-house model, that means, and with the regulations in place, councillors won't be able to not do it, and so we want to, as with some of the districts, build swimming pools and that sort of, art galleries and all that sort of, not art galleries, sorry, swimming pools and things that shouldn't be doing, but they have to do the job of doing water properly rather than do it for votes. So I think Ashburton has been lucky. We've always done it properly and haven't done it for votes effectively.
Yeah, thank you. Page 26. Any comments on there? I see Lowell Mulligan. Has talked about her area as well. So there's feedback. We've had the Methven Community Board supporting the favoured option. Page 27. And again, just more comments on council being the best option. John Skivington and Joanne Ruan. ADC is a proven record of water service. Infrastructure is modern, so best that standalone business unit is adopted to keep control in-house. page 28. Any comments on that, Councillor Wilson?
The very top part about stormwater, I think that is something that we discussed at yesterday's water committee around how we increase our capacity and being able to manage that sort of stuff. And that's one of the benefits of what we were heading with this now. It's capacity and improvement.
Yes, agree. Thank you. There was a comment from Kevin Taylor, and the staff comments are directing him to the stop water exit transition plan, which is not affected by the local water done well. We'll go to page 29. Any comments on that? Richard Scott, don't decide to fix what is not broken. And just some reasons why a CCO wouldn't be viable. Page 30. Any comments on that? And there was a question from John Everest regarding the ring fencing, and that's been explained in the comments. Go to page 31. Councillor Lovett.
I just make mention, Peter Vincent, about all new homes should save rainwater. That theme's coming through a few submissions about rainwater storage and stuff. Instead of going down stormwater, we should be trying to use wastewater on our gardens and things. It might be something we can look at in the future planning and suggest to planners and developers to try and save water. And
how could we get that? Would that come through planning, district plan? How does? I know it's been talked about before.
Through Madam Chair, I think it's a matter we should note from this discussion,
right,
and we'll give some thought as to how to best progress Council's consideration of that matter. It's not directly related to local water done well, and we've got no current plans that I'm aware of to go to some sort of compulsory or incentivised rainwater gathering. So we need to give some thought to how we might advance a conversation around that issue.
Thank you. As Councillor Lovett said, it was brought up a couple of times by people.
Sorry, just to add to that, we have also included it as an objective within our draft climate change and sustainability strategy in terms of enhancing that space and whatever we can do through a district plan to help with that.
Great, thank you. Councillor Hooper.
Just following on from that, Madam Chair, possibly the incentive lies around volumetric charging, doesn't it? If you're getting charged for watering your lawn and your garden, then you're going to be more positive about collecting rainwater and using that and saving yourself a few dollars. So that's probably where the incentive lies, I would have thought.
Yep, correct. Thank you. Page 32. Any comments on that? And sort of just similar comments: retaining local control directly, stay with status quo. Go to page 33. And there's a comment from D and RJ Prendergast. Both do not explain the high cost in years 27 to 29, and there's been a staff comment there that will go back to them. Page 34. Councillor Mackle.
Thank you. I see Diane Rollison made a couple of good comments there. She says, I prefer this option due to the depth of local and governance knowledge within ADC. However, I do see a CCO as a potential option, possibly at a greater cost, if the standalone business unit fails to establish itself as an effective, capable unit. And yes, there would always be that backup option if option 1 failed, I believe, which I would find unlikely, but yeah, there is that option.
There is, yes, thank you. End of page 34, and there's submission there from Andrew Anand. Councillor Wilson.
I think that submission perhaps shows that we just have to ensure that we do tell the people what's happening so that they understand, because it's pretty, the water is one of the most important things you have in your house and your property, so making sure that we don't just assume that we know best is the most important thing. We don't, but I think it's just something you need to always keep in the back of your mind.
And he was speaking about Mount Somers and the new treatment plant, and I think there's some comment to go back about that. We'll go to page 36. And a couple of comments, submissions there saying possibly the best option. Page 37. And Bruce and Helen Mitchell concerned about council spending on water, which increases the rates, and there's an explanation saying that Local Water Done Well was a government reform program which council was required to implement. And we have Stuart Wilson's mission there. Councillor Ellis.
Thank you, and I'd just like to assure Mr Wilson that we are continuing with putting meters in. We've planned to do Require next. As you say, it's more for leak detection at this stage, but there's, as we heard yesterday, great new technology out there with smart meters and things, which is going to make this whole process far easier to hopefully implement and manage. So I can see it ending up district-wide over the next few years.
Thank you. And yesterday we had our Three Waters committee meeting, which gives us a really good overview of what is happening for council in the Three Waters department, and we're getting regular updates every 6 weeks with those meetings. Any other comments on page 37, page 38? No, we'll go to page 39. And that bottom comment there, I like the idea so the ratepayers can stay engaged and there was more local control and accountability. So does there need to be a staff comment on Chris Fowles' submission about the trade waste? Do we need to reply back with anything there? Even just a link to the website?
Yep, we can throw something on there.
Yep, thank you. And page 40. So that's everyone who made a submission or comments, added comments to option 1, who were in favour of option 1. Anyone got anything else to comment on for that? No? Tayaba, I'll pass over to you.
So the other option that we had is for option 2, which is Water Services Council Controlled Organization. 9% of the submitters supported this option, and the reasons they provided is the belief that council governance lacks the necessary skill and expertise to effectively manage water services, and a dedicated and independent board is seen as essential for long-term success. Other view was with Water Services CCO, success is measurable, leadership will be accountable, which will ensure that the decisions are made transparently with expert oversight. Few submissions were based on concerns over council's inefficiencies, overstaffing, and referencing ACL, that it has performed better. Some were of view that central government initiatives like local water done well will improve water governance and will have a positive effect overall. And there's a general dissatisfaction that council water governance and the argument that the change is needed. So I refer council to go through page 41 to 44 to full submissions and officer comment made on this option.
Thank you. So we'll go through those pages now. So page 41, anyone have any comments on those submissions? No, we'll go to page 42. Councillor Wilson.
I refer to Gary Leach's comments. I looked back to actually what he said in his submission, and he mentioned that ATC can get the very best people, have them accountable, and I think that may be true. And he's thinking from a director's point of view, where you pick the best people of skills. But I think we're lucky that we have an election coming up, so the public actually get the right to pick the very best people with the skills when they pick their councillor. So that same thing can happen. But I think that all of these, having the best people around the table for that, they have to think that when they're doing the election. So that question is actually answered, I think, through our election. You do get to pick the best people, and they are accountable.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, thank you for that. Councillor Hooper.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I was just going to hop back one page around Peter Heaney's comment that council's a bit overstaffed the way it is. I wish we could have some more from Peter, and I've had a look at his full submission, and that's pretty much all he said there as well. Just the background to why he's saying that, and his thoughts on where we could thin things out would be nice, rather than just a comment like that. I guess it's not for staff to say, please elaborate. No.
No.
It's a shame. Just, yeah. Peter's watching, maybe he could next time.
Thank you. Councillor Cameron.
And I was thinking whether to comment or not, but now we're on page 41. Smithy's a comment that councillors too close to make this decision as egos dictate what they believe it is, that they believe it is about them when it's not. I think we just need to reiterate that it is ring-fenced. We can't go in and dip in and put money into a favourite project or whatever. It is a ring-fenced, separate, standalone business unit within the organisation. And I think that needs to be clarified.
Thank you. We'll go back to, sorry, Councillor Ellis.
It does seem to be a little bit of confusion around ACL and the services that they provide. It's like it's their service and we're taking it away from them, and we don't. It's a tendered process, and they are our service provider for repairs and maintenance.
And they just happen to be
yes,
a CCO of council.
Yes,
so
yes.
that's probably
there seems to be a bit of confusion around, like we're taking the work away from them with this, and I that is not the case.
No. Thank you. Any comments on page 42? Councillor Cameron.
The comment from Mr McGrath, I think that's obviously a philosophical position, and that
Which page?
page 40. Oh, big pardon, 45. We're on page 42.
Oh, yes. Well, we'll go to page 43. Sorry, 43. Pardon, sorry, Councillor Wilson.
It's Grant Withers about the third paragraph down. Talks about a level of specialisation that goes beyond the scope of general council's or councillors' responsibilities. I think perhaps there is some confusion that the board of any ECCO is a governance board. It's not a doer board. They don't have to know how to change pipes or do digger stuff. That's not their job. Their job is governance.
That's right.
And so it's very, sometimes people believe that if you have a CCO, you're going to have all these digger drivers and people who get out there and do it, but you more than likely wouldn't. You'd have professional directors who are governance experts. So just as councillors, we just have to do the same thing, become governance experts, which we are, and we should be for being here.
Yes. Thank you. Good comment. We'll go to page 44. And sorry, Councillor Cameron, I'll go back to Te Aba, because page 45 is our next option.
Thank you. So the next option we had in the survey was don't know or other. 3% of the submitters supported or selected this option, and they have expanded or commented why. So the way they refer to various issues and aspects that this reform does not address, such as lack of consideration given to the factors like financial instability, declining currency value, and long-term economic projection and consequences of debt-reliant policies. There were concerns over vast scope of Water Services Authority, that is Tamata ROI, and some of the submitter emphasized that maintaining safe drinking water, wastewater management, and stormwater system to prevent disease, citing past outbreaks as examples. And there was an emphasis to consider climate change impact and intergenerational fairness when planning for water infrastructure, and the recommendation that engagement with the Manawatu to integrate cultural values and environmental sustainability into water services. So I'll refer to the council to go through page 45 to 51 of the summary document to see full submissions and officer comments. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So page 45, Councillor Cameron, did you have a comment on
Thank you.
Mr.
Yes,
McGrath?
I sort of said what I was going to say out of order. Sorry about that. Mr. McGrath talks about debt loading onto future generations, and it's not fair, and putting debt is not a smart move. But I don't know how, if it's a long-term asset that's going to last 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, then it seems unreasonable to expect that debt burden to be placed on ratepayers as of today, and also not only making it very unaffordable if we have to pay cash. The debt burden would be tremendous on local ratepayers at the moment.
Thank you. We're page 46. Councillor Wilson.
The comment Richard Tucker made about from a community board, I think we talked about that yesterday, even though this is perhaps not part of the scheme, but the work being done around the on-site treating of water, like in our Montalto scheme, and that's could apply to some of these people. So our water services, what we do, are actually trying to look after everybody in the community as well by having solutions which we need to find them, and if we can make them work, well, that could go to other suppliers as well.
Thank you. And there's a staff comment there that for them to clarify whether that's a community supply or not, and to get in touch if it is. Page 47, and there were some questions around Taumata ROI as well, just how they are involved, and obviously they are the regulator. Page 47, Councillor Wilson.
I'm interested in the one about the Tongan person. I can't speak English very well and that sort of thing. Do we have, nowadays with AI and stuff, can you translate stuff into other different languages? You know, can that be done sort of as we go through these processes? Because it must be able to, in the past it would have taken linguists to have done it in days, but now you must be able to push a button and it does it. Can you? I don't know. That could be it.
Tony?
Online on our website through the Welcoming Communities page, we are trialling Google Translate, and that is effectively a click of a button that can translate those separate web pages into whichever language is selected. with anything automated like that, we're always a wee bit concerned that it's not being a fair and accurate translation. But the feedback that we're receiving from our communities right now is that it's actually mostly doing a really good job of helping that. So that's something we could look to try and enable in future consultation web pages if we can link it all together.
And this person was scheduled to come in to submit, but instead council officers or staff will get back to them with some answers to the questions. So hopefully that will be enough for them to understand. Local water done well. Councillor Ellis.
Thank you. Just on Theo's comments there in his last bullet point, Te Mata Arawa is, we probably need to inform, is not an opt-in or opt-out service. It's regulated and we have no choice. He seems to think we could decide not to join if we didn't want to.
Yes, thank you. And that will be the same in future with the Commerce Commission as well. So we will have two regulators. Page 48. Any questions? And we had National Public Health Services, Te Waipounamu, make a submission. And all that is noted, just regarding safe drinking water. And that continues on to page 50 and page 51. So any comments on the other or don't know option? No, thank you. We're getting through this very quickly. Hand it back to you, Tayoba.
So we conclude all the submissions that we have received. So we'll go for any questions and feedback, and if you required any other information to make a decision.
Councillors, any other questions you would like? So I think the Mayor has mentioned this in the past, but this is a big decision for Council to make. We did receive the feedback. We've been out talking to people at the two presentations, streamed online for one of the presentations, so people have been talking about this. It's not something, it's been going on for a while, so there's been quite a bit of lead in and build up to this, so maybe some final comments from councillors. Councillor Ellis, you first.
Just if I can clarify quickly, so we're not asking you to make a decision today, obviously, so it'll go to next week's council meeting for you to make a final call, but I guess in terms of that question, it's do you need anything else to help make that decision next week?
Thank you. Councillor Ellis?
And for me personally, from staff, the answer is no. I think we've received the number of submissions we have, and the heavily weighting to our preferred option. It's probably one of the clearest lots of public submission I've seen in my time here, and I will give kudos to our staff. I think that's probably helped us. All the comments around how well we do water has probably made this a very, very easy lot of submissions for us. So I just thank all those people who bothered to submit, and we just look forward to what's coming in the future.
Thank you. Councillor Todd?
Thank you. Yes, I think we're definitely guided by the submissions we received. When you have 234 submissions and 88% of those people are in favour of the standalone model, and things like local control, local knowledge, local accountability, responsibility, council doing a good job, it gives you confidence that the decision we will make on this will be the correct one. So, and comments like, we are trusting you to make the right decision, is credit to our staff over the years that have done a good job in maintaining our water services, that we don't get the backlash that some council do. So well done.
Thank you. Councillor Hooper?
Thank you. Yep, I think the community is sending us a loud message. There's a great number of submissions, and also the people that I'm sure we've all talked to in our community and the feedback we've received are very much, well, in my case, along the same lines, that we're well and truly on the right path here. So, yeah, once again, congratulations to previous councils and staff. The work they've done, it's awesome reading the positive comments about our infrastructure, the state of it, and nice that we've sort of juggled that, keeping rates affordable but still keeping the infrastructure up to date. So well done.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson.
Yes, I agree with all the submissions are heavily weighted one way, and also at the same time though, the Chief Executive has made the comment before that the standalone business unit is not business as usual. It's not what we've done. It's a change. And at yesterday's Water Services meeting, we talked about that, and there was some more strengthening of the governance and strengthening of how the decisions are made has to be done, because the business as usual was things just sort of happened and they happened, whereas it needs to be run a bit more strictly. And I'm encouraged with some of the things that we're putting in place now and the changes in hierarchies and things like that. So we just need to keep doing that in our WADP. Refresh me that I know what it is. What does it stand for? The Water
Service Delivery Plan. Sorry, there's a spelling error there.
Yeah, I thought that. Thank you. So I couldn't find the. I think that actually will spell out too. Once we see that and how that fully goes through, that will spell out what we're actually looking at doing quite clearly, because that has to spell out, because the regulators and that want to see in that we're making a change and strengthening our position and how we govern and how we work forward.
Thank you. Any other comments? No, I think we've had a clear message come through. So we've got the next steps up there. Mark, do you want to run through that?
Yeah, so we'll bring that report to you next week, next Wednesday, for that decision, and then so work's underway on developing the Water Service Delivery Plan, which is obviously based on the decision that you make. So that's due to go to DIA in August, following your adoption of it in early August.
So does that mean because the Water Service Delivery Plan needs to be in by the 3rd of September,
Correct.
So we're actually tracking ahead of time, which is really good.
Yep, we've got a little bit of leeway there if things need a bit more time, but yep, at this stage, yep.
That's great. Okay, any questions on that, the next steps going forward? Councillor Lovett?
When do we actually come into the being with the government? Can we opt in earlier? Or there is a specific date there, isn't there? Everyone's got to be at that starting gate, but are some councils opting to, if they got far ahead enough like us, can you opt in earlier in that process? Or
through you, Madam Chair, it's a really good question. There's some unknowns that might make that decision for us a little clearer as time goes on. The first unknown is how quickly the DIA turns around the water service delivery plans. So they're getting one of those from each new water entity or each council by the same date. So let's assume most councils submit theirs close to the 3rd of September. The DIA now has to assess all those delivery plans and approve them or seek further information at that point. So we don't know how quickly the water service delivery plans will be turned around by DIA. We don't know whether it'll even be approved quickly. They may seek further information. That may well spill well into the new year, perhaps it won't. And then let's say ours was approved, when then is the best time to implement the changes, and remembering that we will be advanced through our annual plan process for the 1st of July 26 year, whether we can dovetail in a brand new way of operating water by that date, or whether or not we would be better to have a transition that was a little more measured and perhaps it became effective from a date after that. So we've been doing some thinking about that internally, but a big part of, I think, what will be possible for council choosing earlier vis-a-vis later will become clear as the DIA starts to process the water service delivery plans. We're going to carry on planning around budgets and resource allocation with the status quo until we know the business unit has been formed, while assuming it will be, starting to make our resource thinking clear. How do we make sure that we've got systems that can provide the ring fencing required by the new regime? All those things will feed into a recommendation to you around when we should fire the business unit up. Or it could be dictated to by DAA. We're not 100% sure yet.
And I guess having a new council coming in and getting them up to speed with everything as well will
Yes, that's right. So we'll submit when we submit. This council may see the DIA's comments, approval, or otherwise, but it may well spill till after this term of council. We're just not clear.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else?
Just to add to Hamish's comments, I mean, we're also waiting for the final water services bill, which is going through the select committee process at the moment. So that sort of sets out the whole framework for how this will operate from a water services provider delivery perspective, but also things like the role of the Commerce Commission and how that will play out. So that's expected, I think, in June, but still has to go through the parliamentary process to get finally enacted. And there's also other parts of legislation that might impact on that as well, potentially.
Thank you, Hamish.
I wonder, Madam Chair, with your leeway, I could ask, do we anticipate there will be a statutory date where the reformed entities have to start? Is that likely to be in the bill from our intel?
There are statutory dates for some of the next part of the process. So, for example, a water services strategy that has to be developed, and also the reporting against the entity that's in place. So that's supposed to start from 1st of July 27.
2027. So, yeah. Councillor Cameron.
A little bit off topic. The Tomato ROI regulates our schemes for us, under which we have control over. What about rural schemes or smaller schemes, like, they may have 20 people on them, that are not ADC water schemes? Do we offer support for those people to understand the regs and get them up to speed with what they're required, like to check their water at least twice a year and all those other things? Or is it it's outside the scope?
It's definitely outside the scope. We have no responsibility nor any right to advise private suppliers how they should respond to their obligations.
Okay, so that's up,
We'll be friendly and point where we can any queries to the right place, but we wouldn't purport to be able to advise a private supplier what they should or shouldn't do with someone else's regulations.
Thank you.
Councillor Ellis.
Yes, I'm involved in a private supply where there's 71 properties on. Council does assist. Our water is tested now back in the laboratory here once a month to make sure we're all compliant. And but aside from that, we just got to meet all of the regulations as well as any other supply does.
So you have friendly support.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? Otherwise, we will call the hearings and deliberations to a close. Thank you to the staff for all the work that you have done on this consultation. The document was easy to read. Getting 200 plus submitters is a good indication that people were interested and wanted to have their say. So we appreciate all your work doing this, and look forward to our council meeting on the 21st of May, where we read the report and get to make a decision. So we will break now, finish this, and we will break now for a cup of tea and welcome our submitter to come through for a cuppa. Thank you very much.